June 5th.
The views and opinions in the following show do not necessarily reflect that of this station or its ownership.
Buddy, on WCGO 1590 AM on the Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. We're going to have a great show today. Wally's not here today. He took the day off. But I'm here with a great guest, Mr. Dennis Green. Dennis, what do you hear? What do you say?
All kinds of things. Most of the time, it's hearing more than seeing, and I'm glad I get a chance to actually say as well.
Beautiful. Mr. Dennis Green is the chief engineer at WCGO. I just want to thank WCGO for this opportunity. Having this radio show is a great opportunity for me and Wally. How long have you been in the industry of radio?
Oh, my goodness. I started actually in syndication.
Okay.
We ran a couple of smaller radio stations back in 2012. The end of 2011 is when I started. And we used to run a couple smaller radio stations out of just a little tiny office in Vero Beach, Florida.
Cool.
And we ran a station that was in Florida. We ran 3 that were in Colorado. And so we started really leaning into this whole idea of how independent media can actually start syndicating and getting to that point. So I've been an independent broadcaster ever since. Worked my way up from just being an intern, go in, sweep the floors, maybe watch somebody run a show here or there, all the way up to now I'm general manager of an entire radio network, the multi-format network.
That's awesome. Well, I've done a little audio at Triton College, audio-visual tech, but this is so new to me, and I want to thank you for kind of babying me along the way, being my first radio show. I'm sure you've seen a few politicians too, and how is that like? Is that any different than any other radio show? Are they a little more demanding, or?
Yeah, it really all depends. I mean, me coming from the engineering side of it, as far as the assembly of a show, as far as what are the mechanics, what makes a turkey sandwich type of thing. We've got that down. They're all kind of said the same way. Everybody talks. They say things, whether that's about pets or celebrities or politicians, the subject matter. And you're right. One of the major subjects or the major formats for this arena is political. Because I mean, if you think about what is entertaining, what is the message, what is something, it's something that somebody is interested in and something that essentially converts into a call to action.
Sure.
I mean, and what more down that target than politics? And I think where a lot of what's happened now is media is the reason that the politics and the culture war has merged together.
Yes.
I think that's really the to kind of pull the two subjects in together, because media is all about entertaining, right? I want to entertain something. I want to be here. Well, you don't necessarily have that much showmanship in politics. You should be the everybody wants a boring politician, right?
Right.
Nobody wants a risk taker as an accountant. Nobody would want a risk taker as a politician or anything else. And I think independent media is really what has turned it on its head. The establishment wouldn't let a crazy person on cable news before because it used to tarnish the company.
You're crazy. Crazy, am I? We'll see whether I'm crazy or not.
Exactly.
Yes.
And you don't know if anybody's crazy or not. I mean, look at some of the major news networks that brought crazies onto their show time and time again. They got in trouble for that. So they used to be adverse to that. Don't bring a crazy person on because it might. But now they've realized that extreme is what blows up the ratings.
Sure.
Now you may also an explosion shooting yourself in the foot is still an explosion. So that's where I think the politicians being inside the media and vice versa is where we've kind of seen this blend, this hybrid.
Oh, wow. That's very interesting. WCGO, how long has WCGO been in the business?
Oh, WCGO's been around for quite a while.
Okay.
WCGO was actually used to be, I believe, WONX.
Okay.
As well. There used to be two frequencies, 1600 and 1580.
Okay.
And essentially, they merged the two together, I would say sometime in 2000 teens, somewhere around there. They merged them together, went to 1590,
Okay.
and then expanded the signal. WCGO is a 10,000-watt station during the day. And sure, engineering talk and everything else, 10,000 watts, sure, what's the relative size to that?
Right.
So if you look at it from here up in Evanston, we shoot down all the way to Valparaiso, Indiana,
Wow.
and then go as far west as Schaumburg. So really, if you drove from the tower out any direction, I mean, I guess not necessarily on a boat, but any direction, you have to drive 2 hours to get away from our signal.
Sure.
So,
And the signal's pretty strong.
absolutely, 10,000 watts covers 10 million people.
Okay.
Here in the Great Chicagoland area. So we cover the city proper, and then maybe 2 burbs out.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So
That's great.
yeah, and we appreciate everybody who's listening.
Yes, we do. And if you have any questions, our phone number is 877-711-5611. 877-711-5611. It's a phone number where I have to keep mentioning.
That's it. You'll get it. You'll get it.
There you go.
It's that muscle memory to it.
It'll come to
So,
me, yeah.
Absolutely.
Talk about, I hear that you're a Star Trek fan.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, what
We had a
what
discussion.
engineer's not?
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
I mean, the technology was great, and I think because you and I both enjoy politics and just talking about
Sure.
just how do people just work together? I
Right.
mean, at the end of the day, that's what we're all trying to accomplish. What system do we use to work together? So when we were talking about Star Trek, we were getting into kind of how it's a technocratic society, how they leaned into the technology of it. So
Sure.
so therefore there's no real hunger to anything. If you want to be employed, be employed. I mean, if you want to be a vintner, be a vintner. Like, it's just one of those things that if you're not going to do it, we've got some robots that might do it, or we can just literally replicate it. So, I mean, having unlimited power obviously is a great thing to have.
Right.
So now the only issues that you've got once you solve all the world's problems, I mean, most of it's just due to hunger and scarcity to begin with. But once everybody's got the resources, what do you have left? Well, the only problem you have left now is time travel, which is why they're always getting caught in time loops, and people are coming back from the future in this direction and multiple universes. Sure, that's all fine and dandy.
Sure.
But the other side of it is now the social stuff. If all of our needs are met, you can look at it even on some of the reality shows that are out there in the world. All of those people, their needs are met. They're not worried about making car payments or watching their bank accounts so they can make sure they can get that turkey sandwich at the end of the week.
Right.
Most of those people on reality TV are the desperate housewives and all of that. They're already taken care for. So what's the twist? What's the drama? Well, the drama is societal. Who are the people that I'm talking to? Am I talking nice to those people? And am I doing nasty things to those people? Am I doing nice things to those people? Am I accepting of those people? Am I walled off from those people? So that's kind of where Star Trek takes that next step and says, okay, if everything, we live in this giant utopia, now the next thing would be, how do we treat each other in that same kind of way? So that's what I really like about Star Trek, is that it kind of puts that mirror back up on us that says, like, look, if we weren't weren't struggling to survive, and we had to still work with each other, what differences would we accept of each other, and what differences would we kind of tolerate so that we can continue to work together? And I think that's what Star Trek doesn't necessarily teach you something, but allows you the opportunity to self-reflect.
You think there will ever be a day where Republicans and Democrats can actually get along?
Absolutely. It used to be that way.
Yeah.
It used to be that way. I mean, back to the culture wars and back to the showmanship. I have to be a showman for you.
Sure.
Because if you're not the boogeyman, how can I campaign against you? If you're not absolute pure evil, how can I campaign against you? I have to just say, you know what? He ties his shoes funny, or he works uptown and I work downtown. It's you have to draw these giant comparisons outside of each other and these extreme sides, because it's all a business. It's a career for some people, and you're not going to get I even said it today. You're not going to get a barber who's going to turn around and say, yeah, you know what? You could do that at home. You know what I mean? That barber's going to turn around and say, I'll tell you what, let me wash your hair. Let me cut you up. Oh, man, we can do a couple things here and there. Sure you don't want to shave? We can get a shave for you. So you know what I mean? The problem, I've never seen the problem raise its hand and go, I'm the problem, I'm going to leave. So I think, to take it back to what you asked me, is there a chance that we can all work together? And it's been proven that we can. I mean, even as late or as early back as the 90s, they were still fighting each other on the actual floor, and then they would go to the same cigar bar, or they would go and go have lunch together.
Right.
Because that's where things actually got done. They didn't get done on the House floor. They didn't get done with parliamentary procedures. They get parliamentary procedures and things like that is essentially the drawing up of what you've already agreed on. And so I'm not saying that all our politicians need to go back into cahoots with each other. I'm just saying they need to go back to being friends that have differences instead of being absolute enemies with each other.
It's almost like pro wrestling.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. If I turned around and said, hey, you know what, Pat? You took my yogurt out of the fridge, and that's the only thing I'm mad about you for, and I'm going to fight you later with that. Or I can turn around and say, Pat, you know what? You do this and bleeping that, and you're just pure evil. And yeah, why should we have a fight? So you've got to kind of, you've got to sell the tickets to the fight.
Sure.
Otherwise, you can't campaign on it. So I can campaign on socking somebody in the mouth because of a Twitter post, but it's not as easy to campaign on, hey, do you know House Bill so and such got everybody $5 off of their taxes? You know what I mean? It's hard to campaign at that point with the media that we've got now.
That's good. That being said, we're going to commercial break. Mr. Dennis Green, our phone number is 877-711-5611 if you have any questions. Thank you.
There's a road I'd like to tell you about. Lives in my hometown. Lakeshore Drive, the road is calling.
Producing your own podcast can be frustrating.
Test. 1, 2.
Which is why I'm glad to be introducing the brand new multi-format network. We offer digital media, podcasting, and radio broadcasting professional standard production and syndication. Whether you're looking to bolster and polish your business presentations for a Zoom interview, host your podcast, or push your nationally syndicated radio broadcast to a satellite, we can facilitate your every need. So when you're ready to look, sound, and be professional, don't just try to do it yourself. Contact the professionals at the new multi-format network, the multi-format network. From professional syndication to personal vindication, we've got your back. Shoot us an email, mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com. mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com.
Hello, radio listeners. Welcome to WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. We have a new conservative show on the airwaves, and it's called Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. I'm your co-host, Pat Gibbons. That being said, I'm going to pass the mic on to my friend and co-host, Wally. Hey, Wally, what do you hear? What do you say?
Hey, how's everyone doing today? We're just going to talk about the future, about Chicago crime and the veterans in Chicago.
Tune in Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Conservative Talk Radio with Pat and Wally. Should be a great show. We look forward to your engagement. We'll be talking about safety issues in the city of Chicago, how our veterans need help and assistance, better needed care. And also, too, very importantly, we are going to talk about the Chicago mayor that needs to be called out. I'm Pat.
I'm Wally.
And this is Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. Tune in to Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk on Mondays and Tuesdays from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m., starting June 5th.
It is estimated that 1.5 million people are arrested for DUI every year in the United States. In Illinois alone, over 30,000 motorists are arrested for DUI. Driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or drugs is one of the most complex of traffic charges on the books. Most people do not understand the complexities of the standardized field sobriety tests, which are horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand test. Due to improper testing procedures, many people are wrongfully charged with DUI. Whether you have been charged with a DUI or an attorney handling DUI cases, the book DUIs Decoded explains the proper procedures for standardized field sobriety testing, breathalyzer testing, and the penalties in Illinois for driving under the influence.
Real estate, be it residential or commercial, is often a person's most significant and priciest asset. Entering into a contract to buy or sell a real estate property is much more than just filling in the missing blanks on the printed contract. It's wise to hire a lawyer to prepare or review the offer to purchase real estate and take full advantage of his legal expertise. With Mark Sheblo, you will gain an attorney with over 26 years of legal practice and one who has helped thousands of clients to buy or sell their homes or investment property. We will safeguard your interests and might be able to even negotiate a better bargain than a client without proper legal counsel ever could. Oftentimes, a prospective buyer will submit an offer without first consulting an attorney, not realizing that once the offer is accepted by the seller, it becomes a binding contract. And the terms of that contract are not easy to be changed afterwards. Likewise, as a seller, you too will benefit from first consulting an attorney before signing. Feel free to call us for consultation at the law offices of Mark Sheblo at 773-775-5050. Our website is sheblolawoffice.com. Mark Sheblo can be reached 6 days a week at 773-775-5050, Monday through Saturday, located at 5945 North Elston Avenue in Chicago. That's attorney Mark Sheblo, 773-775-5050.
Welcome back at WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM. Mr. Dennis Green, Chief Engineer at WCGO.
Hello. 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 Hello.
Hello, fellas.
Hello. Dennis,
Yeah.
judging by the, how you say, the bandwidth, you said 10 million people can hear us?
Yeah, 10 million.
That's incredible.
Just locally here on what we call terrestrial radio.
Okay.
So over the course of, I would say, the last 15, 20 years or so, digital radio and digital media has kind of exploded. You know what I mean?
Sure.
YouTube and everything else has kind of come around. You look 30 years ago, what did we have? MySpace? We might have been able to download a song. I was just talking to somebody the other day, like, if you think about even early 2000s, if you wanted to listen to a song, you had to buy that song or pirate it.
Right.
That's the only, there wasn't a website that had it. You only had the radio. So nowadays, if I want to listen to any song at all, at the most I might get a 2-minute ad. At the most I might, and that's if I fall asleep on the skip button. And I can listen to any song that I want to. So it's really neat how the technology has kind of changed and expanded from there. But to essentially make long of your short question, terrestrial radio is still the sticks, the antennas, the receivers, the everything. And that only covers whatever your stick is broadcasting to.
That's great.
But as far as the digital stuff, we're global. And terrestrial wise, according to the physics, we're universal. So we're constantly, things I said 10 years ago are still going out into space, and hopefully they like the shows I was on then.
Right. I'm running currently for 31st Ward GOP committeeman, and I would love to do some commercials.
Yeah.
Some informative commercials. What I want to do for the ward, bring the vote out. WCGO, they provide that, from what I hear.
Absolutely. So here at the station and really multi-format in general, we try to operate more as a guild or a network of people.
Okay.
Essentially what we do here is we tailor to people that are trying to get a message out.
Okay.
And we find the best vehicle for that message, whether that is terrestrial. I've got some people we work with that only do digital and webinars. A lot of it is what's your message and where is it going? You having a local presence here in the city, it makes sense for you to be terrestrially present because those people don't necessarily have to pick up their phone to listen to you. They can listen to you just in the car going around. The other thing that we try to do here is the presence of multimedia.
Okay.
Our network is called Multi-Format Network, and you all know the formats. You've got different formats as in different messaging or different station formats, or you've got different formats even as far as audio. Is it an MP3? Is it a wave? Is it a video file? So all these different formats. So what we try to do here is not only give you the reach on the terrestrial side, we also help you with the digital aspect of it, which is why you've been walking out of here every day with a nice fresh file ready to go on your podcast, because that's what it is now. It's people have used the word transitive media.
Okay.
So what's the difference between a television show and a radio show right now? The cameras. I mean, any talk show right now is the same thing. Talking head with a microphone in front of them, camera on if it's television, or if it's not, it goes out. I mean, Sean Hannity right now. Sean Hannity is on hundreds of stations.
Yes.
And he doesn't do a specific radio show. He doesn't turn around and say, okay, well, I'm going to do 2 hours of my Fox show, and then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to do 2 more hours of radio. No, he does the same show. He does a show.
Right.
He does a message. He has a presence. And then you turn around and say, okay, how does my audience digest my message? Do they listen to the radio, to the terrestrial side? Do they listen to podcasting? Do they watch YouTube videos? Are they TikTokers?
Sure.
The way we kind of put it here is we piece out the buffalo, or really butchering the cow. There are some people that don't like steaks, but they love hamburgers. But they're still eating the beef. They're still eating the show. They're still eating the product.
Right.
So essentially what we do here is we make cows, large, giant, hey, thanks for hanging out with us for an hour. Come see it. Come listen. Come be part of the show. Call us, by the way, 877-711-5611 if you want to be part of it. Be part of the cow.
Right.
Then you turn around and you send it to the butcher. And you say,
I can smell the ugly Bruce.
Exactly. Really smelly. But essentially, then you send it out and say, okay, well, this needs to be a YouTube clip. This needs to be a podcast. This is where, back to your advertisers, you turn around and say, not only did I bring you on as a segment, here's your segment.
Sure.
Now go out, spread the message, say what you can. So it's all about messaging and then the vehicle that we put behind it. So with you in your situation, because you're running for something local, you are on a local terrestrial side, but then you have the digital media to back that up, because terrestrial, I can't TiVo or that's going to date me a little bit. I can't sit here and record or put a VCR or anything like that to record a radio show. I can't pause it. Right now, you can't pause me. I'm on right now. Sorry, guys. Can't pause me. So the medium changes,
Right,
so that they can listen to you after you've already done it, and hopefully bring people closer to your message.
that's a beautiful thing. And in fact, we're going to have more commercials in the future about me running for 31st Ward GOP committeeman. The idea is to get the vote out. That's the idea. We had such a low voting turnout in the 31st Ward. It was just 18%, and that's not good.
Yeah.
I want to get that voting turnout to 60, 70%, no matter what side of the aisle you are. You vote Democrat, Republican. The idea is just get out there and vote. Get out there and vote. Don't sit on the couch, because voting is your right, you know?
Yeah.
So-
And let's see where it lands. I mean,
Right.
at least make it a fair fight. You know
Sure.
what I mean? If you want to say my virtues are the way that this country should be run, or my virtues are the way this neighborhood should be run,
Sure.
it should still be, okay, let's get a general consensus. And I think with you, with your locals type of position, we're able to take this show on the road. So I think somebody just having lunch with you, turning around, doing the show over to somewhere, going into the burb, going actually into the district,
Right.
and sitting down, and just, even if we did it over at a park and said, here you go, meet your future elected official right here. Come have a glass of water with us. Come chill out at the park.
That's a great idea.
And that's the beauty of transmedia, and especially the technology that's grown. To even take it back to what we were talking about Star Trek wise, and the beginning of where I started.
Sure.
The technology has gotten better and better for independent media to actually get that message out. It's now we walk around with an entire studio in our pockets.
Yeah.
Not only the television, we've got the source now. Not only can I watch something as it comes in, I can send something as it goes out, as it's happening. And nowhere have we had that freedom in all of human history. Have we had that instant media gratification and instant messaging, other than a bullhorn, maybe a sign? What if you rented a plane to pull your tweet behind you? Like that was all you had.
Right.
So the vehicles for messaging is changing. But I don't think the practices should necessarily change. I think you should still, even though you are global, arguably universal, it's where are you targeting your message? So there are people that can listen to you in other countries, other continents, and everything else that you're doing right now. But are you targeting those people? Is your message for those people? Sure, come on in, listen, welcome. We're not going to kick anybody out of here.
Right.
But this is for these people. This is for my ward. This is my message for the group of people that need to hear it.
Sure.
And that's where I think WCGO kind of fits in that spot.
It's perfect. It's a match made in heaven.
Well, we're happy that you and Pat are here. You guys have a fantastic show that's coming together. You're on what, week 2 now? This is week 2 already. You're getting into a rhythm already. Is it still exciting coming into the building?
It is.
It is. It hasn't worn off yet?
I don't have to do jumping jacks anymore. Do a little warm up.
Exactly.
I'm getting more in my groove, you know. First day I was here, I got to say, I felt so stiff. Now it's like I don't even realize there's a mic in front of me. It's like I'm just having great conversation with friends.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be. And you shook it off really quick too. And I think that just goes to show how easy conversing is for you, and being able to listen to what to what somebody's trying to tell you. I mean, the part of being a good messenger is also listening to what the message is.
Sure.
So I think it's very admirable of you to step in as a representative,
Right.
and even throw your hat in the ring anyway.
Right. Growing up, I would listen to Rush Limbaugh. You know, I'm not going to be smoking a cigar here, no. But you know, I would listen to him. And radio always appealed to me. It really did, because you can say so much to a certain point. You know, you're allowed to say. I did press conferences for the last year. I did community activism, and the media, they choose what they play. And on radio, it's a little different, and that's why I like radio much better than TV. Your message does get out there.
It's that long form. The other thing is what I like about radio in general too, the theater of the mind, the having that conversation with somebody to where they can picture it, they can feel like they're sitting down with everyone. They can have their cigar sitting wherever they want to and have this conversation with us. And I think the other thing that I like about this is it's long form media. The people that are here right now, 36 minutes into the show, they're the people that are here because of the message. They want to hear the message. They want to be a part of the conversation. Even if they don't want to call up, even if they're just driving in their car shouting at us right now, which is what I think most talk radio listeners do, because I know I do it.
Right.
They're here. They're loyal. They're part of it because it's not only the message that goes out, it's the community that you're building around that message.
Sure.
And I think radio still has that feeling of community behind it that some of the maybe fly-by-night media vehicles and mediums out there are. Like a TikTok, I mean, it's total stranger as I'm scrolling through. Reddit the same way. YouTube to a certain extent. It just fed strangers and strangers and strangers to you. Radio, podcasting, long-form mediums, they're destination mediums. Somebody's choosing to push play. Somebody's finding you, listening for 5-6 minutes, and then continuing.
Right.
So that's what I really appreciate about this medium and here, that long form, that terrestrial, that podcasting, just that, even the audio side of it. Like, I'm ugly. I have the face for radio. So that's what I mean is now I don't have to worry about a camera sitting in front of me or anything like that. I can just be a podcast. I can just be my voice. I can just be my words. And
you feel like you're at home doing this.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You sit in a nice, comfortable chair. And in fact, I could probably get more comfortable chairs. But you're right. It is a conversation. It's sit down. Let's talk about it. Let's digest an idea instead of cramming it into 15 seconds and then aim it at you so that I can campaign off of it.
Right.
And that's nobody wants to do that anymore. They don't want to sit down. They don't want to sit down and have a stogie with you and I, and actually make progress. They would rather punch you real quick for a 15-second clip that they can cycle around and everything else.
Sure.
So that then I can turn around and say, hey, you, complete stranger that only knows me for 15 seconds, give me $5. Instead of, here, I really appreciate your message. I like what you're going to do. I like your plans for the ward. Here's $5. And they've realized that there's a lot more work in actually having a plan.
Sure.
There's a lot more work instead of just shouting whatever highlights or whatever news articles that you want to say.
Sure.
There's actual work behind it. Now there's quick cash, and I think the quick cash system of what we've been working and operating out of now is what's really tarnishing the conversation.
Do you think political hit jobs still sell, or niceness, that approach sells?
That's the thing is Happy Warrior. What happened to that? What happened to the happy warrior? I'm still going to fight. I'm still going to fight. But you know what? I'm going to stand up for righteousness.
Right.
Here's the issue is when you turn around and say, I'm better than you, I'm, in fact, you're scum. When you turn around and something bad, when I do something bad, now you get to turn around and say the exact same things back to me. The problem with self-righteousness is it never lasts. I can say I'm the greatest person in the world, you're a piece of crap, and that person's evil, and that other there. Me, I'm the best. You should only be dealing with my stuff.
Right.
I'm the coolest thing since sliced bread. Here I am. You turn around, and high horses you get knocked down from. It's a long fall.
Mm-hmm.
It's when the politicians came in and said, you know what, this isn't always the best for everybody, but you know what? It helps everybody. And at the end of the day, what compromise is I don't get everything that I want. We get a deal done. And I can walk away grumbling and say, hey, okay, you know what? I'll find something on the next side. But that other side should be saying the exact same thing. They should be grumbling, going, oh, we need to get this done. We need to get that done. And that's where I think where absolutes that people talk about say, you're absolutely evil. There's nothing good about a Democrat. There's nothing good about a Republican. And you play this game of absolutes, there's no wiggle room anymore.
Right.
It's the same thing that they said when they started talking about the evangelicals coming into the Republican side.
Okay.
Now, we can always say that, yes, Christians and evangelicals usually leaned more towards the right.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still Christian Catholics that were Democratic and things like that. And I think what ended up happening is, how do you compromise with God? If I'm going to turn around and say, God said that we have to have tacos on Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
God said this. How do I compromise? Hey, we can't have tacos on Tuesday. We got a great Wednesday taco truck that would come over. God said tacos Tuesday.
Right.
And that's where politics and religion, I think, have combined.
Mm-hmm.
We used to be able to have our religion and our politics. We used to be able to say the two separate, to where maybe my politics, I could have 5 or 6 different religions but we all turn around and we're trying to work off of our party, our party aspect of it. And I think because we've internalized our parties, we've made our parties our religion.
Mm-hmm.
I have to worship the red. I have to worship the blue because the other side is evil.
Mm-hmm. So you based on conviction, personal conviction?
Absolutely. So
Sure.
you're turning around and there's no compromise anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How do you compromise with evil?
Mm-hmm.
I would turn around and say the otherwise. Oh, well, I don't want to compromise with anything that's evil.
Right.
So if I label you as evil, I put you in this evil box, regardless of if you're just a regular person trying to do what's best for your area, for your politics, for your family.
Mm-hmm.
If I automatically label you evil, don't even talk to me. I already cut off communication. I already get rid of compromise
Without giving you a shot.
without giving you a shot.
Right.
So we all got to come to the table
Mm-hmm.
as moderates. You are a person, regardless of your policies or political views or your religion or your work job or whatever you do.
Sure.
You're a person.
That's a great
And
point.
that's where we need to come from. And that's the only way that we can turn this around.
Great. We're going to break on WCGO 1590 AM on Pat and Wally Conservative Talk. Thank you.
Lakeshore Drive, the road is called, and it'll take you up or down. From rats on up to riches.
Producing your own podcast can be frustrating.
Test. 1, 2. Ah!
Which is why I'm glad to be introducing the brand new multi-format network. We offer digital media, podcasting, and radio broadcasting professional standard production and syndication. Whether you're looking to bolster and polish your business presentations for a Zoom interview, host your podcast, or push your nationally syndicated radio broadcast to a satellite, we can facilitate your every need. So when you're ready to look, sound, and be professional, don't just try to do it yourself. Contact the professionals at the new multi-format network, the Multi-Format Network. From professional syndication to personal vindication, we've got your back. Shoot us an email, mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com. mfngeneralmanager@gmail.com.
Napa know-how.
Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping on over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
It is estimated that 1.5 million people are arrested for DUI every year in the United States. In Illinois alone, over 30,000 motorists are arrested for DUI. Driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or drugs is one of the most complex of traffic charges on the books. Most people do not understand the complexities of the standardized field sobriety tests, which are horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand test. Due to improper testing procedures, many people are wrongfully charged with DUI. Whether you have been charged with a DUI or an attorney handling DUI cases, the book DUIs Decoded explains the proper procedures for standardized field sobriety testing, breathalyzer testing, and the penalties in Illinois for driving under the influence. DUIs Decoded is written by nationally recognized DUI expert witness William Pellerinos and is available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.
Napa know-how.
Get all the quality parts you need at your locally owned Napa. Because right now, when you order from Napa online, you can pick up curbside at your local store in just 30 minutes. Or get your order delivered direct to your door with free one-day shipping on over 160,000 quality parts when you spend $35 or more. Quality parts delivered quickly and safely. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating stores, standard ground shipping and exclusions apply.
It is estimated that 1.5 million people are arrested for DUI every year in the United States. In Illinois alone, over 30,000 motorists are arrested for DUI. Driving under the influence of alcohol, marijuana, or drugs is one of the most complex of traffic charges on the books. Most people do not understand the complexities of the standardized field sobriety tests, which are horizontal gaze nystagmus, the walk and turn, and the one-leg stand test. Due to improper testing procedures, many people are wrongfully charged with DUI. Whether you have been charged with a DUI or an attorney handling DUI cases, the book DUIs Decoded explains the proper procedures for standardized field sobriety testing, breathalyzer testing, and the penalties in Illinois for driving under the influence. DUIs Decoded is written by nationally recognized DUI expert witness William Pellerinos and is available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com.
All right, we're back. WCGO 1590 AM or 95.9 FM on the Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk with Mr. Dennis Green.
Pleasure to be here. Thank you very much for having me, sir.
It's all right.
Why did you pick Lakeshore Drive for your intro? If I can kind of flip the interview on you.
It's okay. I can take a question. I love Lakeshore Drive.
Yeah?
Yeah. When you're driving down Lakeshore Drive, there's no road like Lakeshore Drive. It's just open area. You know, it's beautiful, especially at night.
Yeah.
Especially at night. You see a bunch of stars. You just want to just keep driving and see where the car takes you.
On a clear night, you got what's really cool is you see the stars on one side and you got the city on the other. You got the windows
it's so
on
beautiful.
the other. It's that cool contrast of just human ingenuity and then what the universe is already painted for us.
Right, right.
It's really neat.
It's like you're lost, you know. It's like you're going into a postcard.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
That's the way I see it. Yeah.
Yeah, like every time I come off of Sheridan and like you do that first like maybe 20 minutes off the top going south,
Mm-hmm.
and then you get over that one hump that's that just opens the entire city
Okay.
out in front of you. That's always the best part. I'm that guy in the car that like pokes everybody and goes, look at the city, guys. Guys, look at the city. Isn't it beautiful? like I'm that dad in the car that's like,
yeah.
turn off your tablets and look at the city. Like that's always me. So I appreciate your sentiment on that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Downtown at night's so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
Where's the 31st located?
31st Ward, that's part of Belmont Cragen, Hermosa, Portage Park, Logan Square, Avondale, Belmont Gardens, and it's a piece of each neighborhood. It's mostly Belmont Cragen and Hermosa and a little bit of Portage Park, actually.
Okay.
That's the mostly the 31st Ward. And
I always found that odd that the wards are separated instead of just like we already know where the district is. Like
Right.
we already know why didn't we just go 1-to-1?
Right.
Like I guess some maybe you got to combine 2 or 3 to actually make a ward, but
It's
have you
weird.
gotten it to this point where why is it a crazy puzzle piece?
I don't know. It's so weird. You go 3 blocks away, and then all of a sudden you're in the 45th Ward. You go 2 blocks down the street, then you're in the 30th Ward. 5 blocks down this way, you're in the 29th Ward. That's why they give you like maps and all this kind of stuff, and you have this long scroll to look through. It's like a treasure map.
Yeah,
literally.
but it changes on you.
Yeah.
And then every once in a while it changes. So your neighbor could be in a completely different ward than you, and it's all based on how you vote.
Yeah. That's
Like
it.
that's I don't know. That's sometimes when we look back at our system, like every system's got kinks into it. Me as an engineer, I'm going to tell you, I'll be the first one to tell you. There's some machines you have to kick to get to work.
That's old school.
That's just what it is. You have a hammer, and it's called the what is it? The persuader, and it says, okay, well you better start working, or I'm going to hit you with this thing. So there are systems with different things that are out there with it, but shouldn't there be somebody just screaming to the rooftops like, let's fix it, like let's get a little bit more, like you had hit on earlier, going out and voting, everybody going out and voting regardless of what party wins or what happens, at least that way you know what the people said.
Exactly.
So I think antiquated things like the gerrymandering that goes on and the electoral college, I think those two things we've essentially outgrown as people. I mean, even to me, I we've talked about it before, is the House of Representatives.
Sure.
Is why do I have to send Mr. Smith on a donkey down to Washington to represent me when with technology I have, if I can vote for an American Idol, surely I can vote for American congressman. And that's where I think we're hitting this wall with how the system is set up and how fast the communications are going. Before, you had to have this slower system because the slower system was like, hey, the letter that guy just wrote is in the mail. We can't do this until that letter shows up. Or we can't do this over here until it gets signed by this guy and then a courier runs it from this building to that building. Electronic signatures. I mean, it's getting to the point where the bureaucracy is kind of getting in the way of progress.
Sure.
And then you turn around and add that progress also means that I don't get paid anymore because if I fix a problem, what am I going to run on next year?
That's it.
Like if you fix every problem in the 31st Ward, what are you going to run on next year? Like that's the issue with politics right now. Is I have to have a boogeyman. I have to have just an evil person that I'm constantly fighting, whether that person is legitimate or that person is just out there in the world.
Right.
I have to have a problem that I can never fix, so I can just throw money and everything, time and everything else into it, and I have to slow down the system.
Sure.
And if I was in politics for money, Those are the things that I would be doing. And I think that's our issue is to kind of put it all into one kind of thing. I think there's too much money in our politics. And whether that's dark money, clean money, or otherwise, it's no longer, here are the people that you're going to vote for. Here are what they stand for. What do you want to do? It's who slept with this person, who has this debt over here,
Oh, yeah.
who had bankruptcy on this side over here.
Once you're in the public eye, all of your dirty laundry comes out automatically. You could be the nicest guy, choir boy, and then
And I thought they'll make up something.
Right, they would. It's true.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like any other job, you're going to do the things in your job to keep your job.
Sure.
And I think at that point, you're no longer looking back at the people that you're representing.
Mm-hmm.
And again, back to the House of Representatives, I think I can represent myself just a little bit better than somebody that I might have looked at one point. So, but by all means, you need the Senate. I mean, Rome, Greece, all of the other major, they always had the elders or the Senate or something. You do need professional politicians to get stuff done.
That's true.
But as far as listening,
shall be Moralica for moron!
that's the guy.
It's true.
You just run on it. That's it. And that's it. That's all I'm saying is. But I think to long say what you've said is just get involved.
Mm-hmm.
Get involved in some kind of way. Make sure your voice is out there into the world. And if I can't vote for myself, then I'm going to know pretty well the person who is representing me.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the same thing. Would I go to the bus stop and say, hey, random stranger, I need you to go order me a pizza, and say, this pizza is going to be fantastic, I cannot wait.
Great.
Or are you going to go to your best friend and say, hey, go get a pizza? They're going to know what you want. They're going to know what they want and compromise. If I throw $50 to just some rando at the bus stop and say, go get us a couple pies, I have no idea what's going to happen.
Sure.
So it just encourages you even more to be part of your representation, to be part and get to know people like you that are running.
It's a real thin line. You don't want to appear to be fake too. People think that you're not sincere when you run for office. Sometimes, even your friends. Oh, he wants a favor from me. So that's the catch-22.
Mm-hmm.
It's really rough. At the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, with the whole power and responsibility dynamic for it, I think it's only fair that somebody should question something like that.
Right.
Question by all means what's going on, but don't hinder. Don't be in the way.
Right.
Like, if you want to question, let's question, but there's no reason for you to hold anybody back.
Sure. This has been a great interview, Dennis.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. You're always welcome to the show. Of course, you work here.
I'll just come in, right?
Yeah, you just come in. You're always welcome here.
Appreciate it. It's been fun. Thank you, Pat.
It's been fun, Dennis. Thank you for joining us at the Pat and Wally's Conservative Talk. On the 19th, we have a special guest. We look forward to your engagement. Thank you. Thank you.
It starts up north in Hollywood, water on your driving side. Concrete mountains rearing up, throwing shadows just to hide fire. Sometimes you can smell the green if your mind is feeling fine. There ain't no finer place to be than running Lakeshore Drive.
WCGO 1590 AM, W240EH 95.9 FM, Evanston, Chicago.